Now, alongside the massive war that's taking place in Iran, insider trading has been running rampant. And in this clip, we're going to see GOP mega donor Hal Lambert, as well as Chris Hahn, a progressive commentator on Chris Cuomo's show, go back and forth and have an exchange where Hal Lambert tries to talk about the levels of corruption being a both sides issue, and Chris Cuomo just completely shuts him down, as well as Chris Hahn. As usual, let's watch the clip in full. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
All right, let's get after it. What's really going on with these trades we keep seeing and what can be done about it? GOP mega donor and Wall Street investor Hal Lambert joins us, and the host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, Mr. Chris Hahn. Good to have you both. Hal, thank you for joining us. First, what is the chance that there is zero fugazi factor with these trades and that these guys are just savvy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're trading on information that's clearly not out there to the general public. The problem is, Chris, it's not illegal. And, you know, surprise, this is not the stock market where you have fiduciary rules and an SEC enforcing fiduciary rules. This is the Chicago Commodity Exchange.
Commodities Exchange.
They're known to not have fiduciary obligations. They're known to be able to trade on information that's proprietary that no one else knows. And so, you know, they can investigate it. And I think they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't investigate. I think it'd be good to know who's doing this. It may not be someone in the White House. But by the way, whoever it is, they have to be very sophisticated. They have to have a lot of money. You can't just have a futures trading account, willy-nilly. It is very difficult to get one of those set up. To trade in this size is difficult. So you're going to be looking at a handful of people that could do this. I don't think it's going to be difficult to find out who it is. But again, once they do, I don't know that there's been any laws broken.
Oh, I don't care about the traders. I want to know who's giving them the information, my brother. Hal, this isn't about everybody is a Google away from knowing what you just said. The problem, Chris, is they're getting the information from somewhere, and we know where they're getting it. They're getting them from someone in or close to the administration, and they do have rules.
Yeah. You know, I think the problem in the Trump administration is that they see Trump pardoning all of these people who have committed massive fraud. They see a lot of people in and around the Trump orbit getting rich on contracts with the government or other things that they are benefiting with that relationship. And they say, what about my piece? Everybody wants in on the grift. And I think you're starting to see some lower level people. We saw it a couple of weeks ago with that Polymarket trade on the Venezuela invasion. That was just a low level guy who knew about it and got in on it. I think there's a culture problem in this administration that is really creating this kind of behavior in the White House. And that's what they really got to get to the bottom of.
Well, can I jump in on that?
Go ahead,
because
Al.
I don't think that's fair. Look at Congress. Okay, both sides of the aisle. Look, there's an exchange traded fund that trades on Nancy Pelosi's trades. So, they're getting information the public doesn't have, and they're trading on the stock market. So to say this is like a Trump issue is not fair. This is a Washington, D.C. swamp issue. I think it's a problem. I don't think it should be allowed in Congress. I don't think they should be able to trade these individual stocks. But don't try to make this like a Republican Trump issue. This is an issue across, and look, I agree. People look at this and go, this isn't right that these people are up there making all this money on the side, basically, with information that other people don't have. So I'm in agreement on that, but I just don't think you blame Trump.
I agree that there should be limits on what members of Congress can do when it comes to their stock portfolio, just as there should be limits of people who work in the White House. They have information that you and I will never have, and they should not be able to trade on that information. It's insider trading at a whole nother level, and there should be rules around it, but there is without a doubt a culture going on right now in this White House. But I agree with you. What's happened in Congress is bad as well, and Congress needs to pass reforms for itself.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it. And they've got to be shamed into doing it. They won't even vote on the War Powers resolution. They just took off. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. We've seen a lot of shirking of duty. We've seen a lot of Congress giving power to the executive that the executive shouldn't have. Presidents of both parties have taken it, used/abused. Trump is not the first. But Hal, a lot of people I know voted for the president to drain the swamp. and to stop this kind of stuff, to stop the lawfare, to stop the double dealing, to stop the two-tiered system. It seems like he's made it worse. You don't see it that way.
Yeah, no, I don't see that he's made it worse. And look, we don't know who's leaked this information. We really don't. We certainly don't. And by the way, when you say leak it, you know, if you're letting our allies know in the Middle East something that's about to happen, and you have somebody in the Middle East trading off of that, is that a leak? I don't think that's a leak. That's part of what we're trying to do as coordination with other countries. And, you know, you could easily have Middle East players trading the commodity futures in oil to make money off of that. So I don't think we should jump to the conclusion that, you know, somebody is nefarious inside the White House making money off of this. Who knows who it is? I think it should be investigated. But I know. I think that, you know, there was a lot of corruption under Joe Biden. And I think Trump has really tried to get a handle on that. And I think he's had a pretty clean group there. You don't see, in my opinion, you haven't seen, you know, people grifting off of this government like you certainly didn't see with, you know, Hunter Biden and others. So I just don't agree with that.
Are you kidding me?
Hal, have you been on vacation for the last year? Hold on a second. Hunter Biden was using his father's name to make money. Period. End of discussion. And did Joe obviously have a soft spot for him because of all the struggles that he has? Yeah. And it led him to allow the kid to do things that he shouldn't have done. The man to do things he shouldn't have done. He's not a kid. However, we've never seen anything like what we're seeing right now. The president pardoned a guy who admitted a felony, who then gave his sons a business that was funded through the UAE. And now his sons are in the drone business getting government contracts. We've never seen anything like it, Hal. Ever even close.
Billions.
Joe Biden pardoned thousands of people. I mean, come on.
Let me talk, Chris.
But Joe Biden,
yeah, he did.
Joe Biden pardoned guys who were convicted of marijuana offenses. Trump is pardoning people who have frauded millions of Americans. Yeah, he pardoned his own son, but his son's using his father's name was like having a paper route compared to what the Trump sons are doing to make money right now off of the administration.
Problem is,
look, I'm not saying it's illegal, but look at what it is.
Here's the problem. Hal, you're not wrong. It exists a lot. I just believe it has been magnified here, and it was supposed to be being marginalized. That's my bitch about it. You know, that's why I'm not happy about what I'm seeing. But let's be very clear. We have created a corruption culture. It's a kleptocracy. Everybody knows it and they expect no better. That's where the space is. If somebody comes in and can actually demonstrate that they do better, they won't pardon guys like this. They won't let their family be involved. I still remember the day this guy came to me and he said, hey, Hal, he said, Chris, you know, I got this buddy, Hal. He does condiments. And, you know, the state of New York pays like $5 million too much for condiments. Did you know that? I said, no, I didn't know that. He says, yeah, I got this guy. He says he can cut it in half. Can you get him a meeting with your brother's guys? I didn't even think about calling my brother because I thought he would punch me in the face. That is because I was afraid of the conflict. We need that on that level. We need people who are afraid to even have a smell test that they pass, because right now everything stinks. But Hal, I appreciate you making the arguments. Thank you. And Chris Hahn always.
So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave a link to the full video so you guys can check it out whenever you feel the need to. But I just want to talk about a few things. Hal Lambert trying to really act like Donald Trump is free of corruption is the most brain-dead take I believe I've probably heard today. And the reason as to why is because we have never in history seen as much corruption as we have seen come out of this administration. That's just a fact. It is just a fact. The idea that $2.6 billion in suspicious oil futures trades that are timed perfectly around the time that Trump makes Iran war announcements, that in of itself tells you exactly what's going on. It tells you exactly what's going on. And for those of you that can't pick up and can't follow on what I'm saying, someone close to the White House is making fortunes on advanced knowledge of military strikes and perfectly timing trades so that they can cash in and profit. That is what's taking place. Now, when you take a look at Donald Trump and all the things that it is that he's doing, This is a man that's pardoned felons who defrauded millions of Americans. Donald Trump's own sons are in the drone business, which is funded with UAE money, and they're getting US government contracts. Did you hear what I just said? They're in the drone business, which is funded by the UAE, and they're getting US contracts. I'm going to let you guys sit on that one. Trump's pardoned a convicted felon whose sons now profit off of federal contracts. Like this is, when you really think about that, that is absolutely crazy. And it's not hard to understand and see what's going on here. There's going to be someone, a lower level staffer maybe, in the White House, that can see that Trump's family is grifting and they want their own piece. That's what it is that's going on. Like that's exactly what's taking place. And it's so blatant and it's right out there for anyone to see. Yet still, MAGA Republicans in Congress, they refuse to investigate any of it. Any of it. Like, it's absolutely crazy, but it shouldn't surprise anyone. This is what MAGA do. And because of the fact that Hal Lambert couldn't correctly argue his points, what did he turn to? Whataboutery. That old chestnut. Honestly, anyone believing that Donald Trump is legit, that Donald Trump isn't a fraudster, scammer, honestly, I've got a bridge to sell, yeah. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this exchange in the comment section below. And I apologize, my energy probably feels a little bit low because it's literally 12:30 here in the morning in the UK. But listen, I appreciate you guys as per usual, and I will see you guys in the next clip.